Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be doing a video talking about who I want to see in the men's and women's Royal Rumble matches next month at the Royal Rumble. I have about 7 or 8 people for each match picked out, so I'm just going to jump right into it. There are a few more that I would love to see in the Rumble, but these are just the ones that I would kind of flip out over, like really be excited for. So some of them are massive returns, some of them are debuts, some of them are from NXT, so I'm just going to jump right into it. So, also I do have a tag team in the first, in like the men's one, because I'm going to talk about the men's first. But there's a tag team on the men's one that I included as one person, which I'll get into after, so. First, Big E. Big E, if you guys have not, because some of you might not even like wrestling like I do, but Big E has been out with an injury. He broke his neck sometime this year in 2022. And earlier, I'd say in the middle of this year, of 2022, he posted a video on his Instagram story of him taking off his neck brace and throwing it in the trash. So, I mean, maybe he's cleared to compete again. I don't know. But whether he is or he isn't, I would love to see him in the Rumble. Now, these aren't entry predictions. These aren't who I can see in the Rumble. These are just people who I would love to see in it. So, Big E is one of them. He is a family household. He is a favorite in my household. We love him, so. Hopefully he'll be in it. I don't know if he will, but it would be great to see. Next is Pat McAfee. He is one of the commentators, but he has wrestled for WWE a few times. He is currently out doing something with football, college football or something like that. So he took a bit of a hiatus from WWE 3 months ago, almost 4, and he said that he would be going away for 4 months, and 4 months is almost up. My mom and I, we saw a post on Facebook the other day about him coming back in January, and what else is in January? The Royal Rumble. That's on January 28th. So, I mean, that would be almost perfect timing for him to return, so I would love to see him in the Rumble. Next is The Rock. I not only would I love to see him in this, but I can also see him entering the match as well. Because a while back, I saw a post on Facebook and Instagram of saying something like, WWE are talking about having The Rock come in and win. So, he is heavily rumored to win. Apparently, that's what WWE is talking about, having him come in and win the whole thing. So, I mean, I put him on this list not only because I want to see him in the Rumble, but I do believe that he could possibly show up this year in the Royal Rumble next month in 2023. So. Next, I have Logan Paul. Now, some people might not agree with this one. Some people don't. I know some people don't like Logan Paul at all. But whether you like him or not, you cannot deny the fact that he is a great wrestler. You just can't. If you watched some of his matches, he's only wrestled 3 times, by the way, in WWE. At WrestleMania this past April, this past July or August, sometime this summer for SummerSlam, and back at Crown Jewel in November. Was it November? I think it was. He fought Roman Reigns for the Universal title. He didn't win, but he put up an amazing fight, and if you watched some of his matches before, you'd probably say it too, that even if you don't like him or you do, he's a phenomenal wrestler. And I think that, honestly, a lot of you might not agree with me, but I'm just going to come out and say it. I think he should be champion one day. I'm a huge fan of Logan Paul. Again, some of you might not be, but I am, and I would love to see him as champion one day. So I feel like if he entered the Royal Rumble match and won, I would not even be mad about that. Next, speaking of Logan Paul, his brother, Jake Paul. He showed up at Crown Jewel to try and help Logan win, which he wasn't successful, unfortunately, but it is what it is. I still like Roman, but Yeah, Jake showed up at not the Royal Rumble, at the Crown Jewel last month, and maybe he could. I mean, he did, or somebody did. I don't know if it was him or Logan specifically, or if it was just a wrestling fan like me. I didn't post it, but I did see a post on Instagram saying, um, Logan and Jake Paul versus the Usos at WrestleMania for the tag team titles. And even Jake posted something on Twitter or Instagram or somewhere saying, Logan and I will be back for revenge or something like that. So I mean, it's possible. I mean, if Logan is in the Rumble, maybe who's to say Jake won't be? You know. So the next one and the last one, like I said, this is a tag team from NXT, and like I said, a tag team I'm going to include as one because, it's a tag team, so. Pretty Deadly. I've always been a fan of NXT, really. I became a fan back in 2018 when I first got WWE Network, and I watched it from 2018 to, I'd say, October 2019, and then I stopped watching it. Like, I fell out of love with it, I guess. I didn't really fall out of love with it. I never could. I just wasn't able to watch it. So, I stopped watching it. Again, I never fell out of love with it. I don't even know why I said that, but for some reason, it just wasn't showing up on my TV. So, I couldn't watch it, unfortunately. But then, earlier this year, I think it was sometime in March or April, or maybe even May of this year, I started watching NXT again on TV, and I loved it. Just as much as I remember loving it before, and I've been watching it ever since. I never miss an episode of NXT, and if I do, I will tape it and watch it whenever I can. But one of my favorite tag teams, I say Pretty Deadly is my favorite tag team in all of NXT. But I don't think I've ever loved a tag team in WWE or NXT anyway, as much as I love Pretty Deadly. I'm obsessed with them. I get super excited when they show up on my TV screen. So yeah, Pretty Deadly, Elton Prince, Kit Wilson. I don't know if they would be in the Royal Rumble this year coming, but it would be great to see, and I would love it. So that is everyone that's on the men's list. Also, an honorable mention, someone else that I would love to see in the Rumble. Braun Breaker, the current NXT champion. I would love that too. So that is everyone on the men's side. So now on to the women's side. I don't have a tag team on this list, but I have some returns and I have quite a few NXT stars actually. So let's get into it. First, when I did up this list in the first place, the first name I knew that I wanted to put on this list was someone from NXT. Probably one of my all-time favorite NXT women's superstars in NXT history, I would say. Nikita Lyons. The day I started doing up this list, I didn't even think about it. I knew that one of the girls that was going to be on this list was Nikita Lyons. I love her, like with Pretty Deadly. Same thing as Pretty Deadly. I don't think I've ever loved a single NXT star like I do with Nikita Lyons. She is my all-time favorite NXT star, honestly. I mean, I do have other favorites, but like Nikita Lyons, like she's number one. Anyone that turns heel, like when I watch someone turn heel on wrestling, like I still like a few months after they turn heel will go by, and I still love them until they do something will like cross the line for me as a fan. Like Judgment Day, when they first started as like a faction back in April of this year, for the first few months I still loved them. They were one of my favorite teams in WWE history. And then Extreme Rules came around back in October, and that whole moment with Edge and Beth Phoenix and the Judgment Day, and I was like, yeah, that's it for me. I don't like the Judgment Day. They can go somewhere, right? Not go somewhere, but I'm sure you know what I mean. So it takes me quite a while to dislike a wrestler after they turn heel. But Zoe Stark, she turned heel on my girl Nikita Lyons, and the second she turned heel, I was like, yeah, I'm done with her. Like, I don't like her anymore. like I said, when someone turns heel, like I said, I still like them for a few months depending on what happens. But when Zoe Stark turned on Nikita Lyons and hit her with that title, I was done with her. Again, Nikita Lyons is, like I said, my favorite of all time in NXT. So the second Zoe Stark turned on her, I was like, yeah, you're done for. Nikita's my girl, really. So I wasn't messing around with Zoe Stark any longer after she did that to her. So anyway, next, I would love to see Nikita in the Rumble. I would flip out. So anyway, moving on. Next is Sasha Banks. She and Naomi, Naomi's also on this list, which I will talk about in a few minutes. Sasha and Naomi both walked out of WWE back in May of this year. They claimed that they felt disrespected compared to all the other women on the roster, and they were champions at the time, so the women's tag team champions. So they took their titles, laid them on the desk, and just said that they felt disrespected, and they just walked out. And they actually did have a match that night, I'm pretty sure, so yeah. But now, every day, it's different. You hear, is Sasha Banks coming back to WWE, or is she not? Like, every day is different. One day I'll hear something like, Sasha Banks may not be done with WWE yet. The next day after that, Sasha Banks could be coming back at the Rumble. Like, make up your mind, dude. Seriously. But yeah. Again, this isn't my predictions. This isn't who I think will be in the Rumble. This is who I would like to see. So, Sasha Banks. Of course she's on this list. She's been one of my favorite women in WWE since I first became a fan. About 6 or 7, almost 7 years ago, actually. Next is Naomi. I don't really have to say much about her, other than I love her just as much as Sasha Banks. And again, she walked out at the same time as Sasha did. They felt they were disrespected and just walked out. Next is AJ Lee. No surprise here. She's been on my list for years, and I think until that day comes that she will be on at the Royal Rumble and enter the Women's Royal Rumble match, she will always, every year, be on this list until it actually happens. So, and the final two are from NXT. First is Cora Jade. A huge fan of hers. Always been a fan of hers. When I got back into NXT this year, she has been one of my absolute favorites. Obviously, I like Nikita more than anybody else in NXT, really, but Cora Jade, I'm a huge fan of hers, and I feel like she would kill the Royal Rumble match. And the next one is the current NXT Women's Champion, Roxanne Perez. This year has been her year. She's killed it this year. I love her. Again, one of my ultimate favorites in NXT, so. Yeah, anyway, those are all the people I would like to see in the Royal Rumble match. Also, CM Punk, and Karma, I cannot end the video without talking about them a little bit because they also have been on my list for the past few years. And I know they're not, I know I don't have them written on my list on my phone, Karma or CM Punk, but still I would love to see them in the Rumble, whether they're on my list or not. But anyway, that is it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed it, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you'd like to see more from me, and I will see you guys next week for my What I Got for Christmas video, because as of now, I'm doing that next week, so. Bye, guys.